As we begin today, what topics and things do we want to speak on today?
We would like to speak on Ascension as a whole, as well as what is going on in your realm at this point in time. The fear-mongering and difficulty with one's life. These are the main topics that we would like to touch on.
And so what would be a good place to start?
We will start with the Ascension conversation. As you will see, there is much of a spectrum online. You will see on one end love and light, and this does not bother me, and I am not affected, and I am ascending, I am 5D, I am all the things. And then on the other end, you will say, much doom and gloom. And you find yourself lost in all of it. You find yourself caught up in the mind of, am I ascending? Am I not ascending? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? Am I eating the right things? Am I meditating enough? Am I reading enough? Am I doing this? We will tell you this. Those judgments of the mind keep you stuck in your reality. They really have nothing to do with your ascension and rather bog you down. And what we would like you to know is this: it is quite simple, and humans have a tendency of making things a little too complex and too difficult for themselves.
So, the bigger picture, does none of that really matter? I mean, I know it matters, so I'm not discounting that. But as the ascension process goes in whatever way it shows up in our reality, is none of that important? Do we continue the ascension anyways?
Correct. What people do not understand is that you've come here to be human. Although many of you have spiritual experiences, and you are here to shed light on the spiritual plane and this realm that you dabble in. But many get too caught up in, am I ascending or am I not? Am I 5D? Am I not? Is this new world? Is this old world?
Why do we get caught up in these things?
That is the human nature of the mind and the ego. The ego likes to attach meaning, likes to attach judgments. It likes to keep you safe and in line. And a lot of it is fear-based, we will say. Many who are in the ascension conversation have much fear of being left behind.
I see that a lot with the different categories people try to put themselves in based on whom they've listened to and where that information has come from.
Yes, but it is important to know that you have chosen to incarnate in this time because your soul wanted to experience something. And this is a pivotal time of much change. And you've come here to do many things and experience many things. But many get caught up in where they are going and forget to live now. And we understand that there is much chaos in your realm. Many things are changing and in flux, and there is fear and difficulty in trusting that everything is going to be okay. But if you rest assured in your soul's path to being here, you will find all that you need. And we know that that is not maybe what you want to hear, because that is too simple. But it is just that simple.
And why is this important to focus on the lack of need for labels and the minor details?
Because many are getting caught up and bogged down in their own mind and their own density, which is keeping them stuck and in a constant loop of the same. And many are wanting to free from these chains that keep them bogged down. And so we are here to tell you this. We preach a lot about taking small steps with change and allowing your mind to be open to different possibilities. And some have a lot of difficulty in doing this, as they are addicted to staying the same, because it is safe, or so they think.
But safety is really just a
figment of the mind.
Because nothing can truly hurt the soul. Not really. At least not in the way we perceive it.
That is correct.
And so, what about this is important for the ascension process?
Can you bring yourself back to your day-to-day and what it is that you are experiencing? And we will say that that is part of your ascension process, but many of you will get caught up in that alone.
How do we get out of that?
For some of you, you will not. That is something that you are working on. That is something that you have come here to break and to change and to mold into something new that works better for your soul. But can you come back to the present moment as best that you can and focus on being human and in your humanness and experiencing all that is around you? You will see, like children, the innocence, they are opened to all things. They have a lightness of being, and one can take a lot from watching a child play. And this is what is important about your growth as a soul, as a spirit. Especially in times like these where there is much fear and chaos and turmoil in your realm. And you will say, how can I do such a thing when my life is falling apart? And we would say, is it really falling apart? Or is there something better in the works that you are not quite privy to seeing?
How does someone believe that when people's experience is always waiting for the next shoe to drop? How do you get out of that?
The small moment of change. A small preview into how can I see this a little differently than how I am looking at it now? And sometimes getting out and moving the energy, such as going for a walk, playing with your pet, or talking with a friend can help bring you a sense of grounded energy to view something differently. Many like to live in the cycle that continues and continues without wanting to break it. And for you, that is what works now, and you are not ready to move forward, and that is okay. However, when you are ready to move out of that cycle, asking yourself, can you show me how this can be looked at differently? And trusting what it is that you see. But many of you may not want to see it, and that is also okay. There is something to be said about giving yourself grace in the season of life that you are in. And many of you do not do that. But you should. You will find that much ease and understanding comes from giving yourself grace in harder seasons. And you will learn the lessons of why you are so hard on yourself by doing this.
But others may argue, I need to get where I need to go. I need to ascend and be at this and this place, whatever the narrative is for each person. And they think that they're missing out on something if they don't do these things that they're being told to do.
But that is the ego at work. Where are you going? Where are you going to go? There is nowhere to go. The rush and the push to be, to go, to see, to do is all a part of the ego. And this is why we speak on presence of mind, being still in the moment, which is very hard for a lot of you at this time. You have many distractions which you run from how you feel and what you perceive. And you flood yourself with what is on social media, what is on the media. How can I eat to make myself feel comforted or satisfied? How can I drown myself in something so I don't have to pay attention?
Well, then what is the point of the ascension? What is the purpose of this? If we are not meant to do anything as far as reach something.
The goal isn't necessarily to reach something. This ascension conversation is one that is created by the ego, we can say, as this is the best way to explain this in human language. What you have come to do is experience and grow.
And so is there not a rise in consciousness happening currently?
There is very much a rise in consciousness happening. However, the ascension conversation is a bit misguided, as there is too much focus on the separateness between those who are ascending and those who are not. And the important part is to bring it back to the oneness conversation. How you are becoming more connected, more understanding, more compassionate for one another, and you are seeing yourself more times than not in another. And this is the point of this conversation. The ascension conversation is more of a separateness conversation. It is, how are you separate from another? Some may say, but this is, I want to join this group. But that means that you are separate from another. Is this making sense?
It does. It sounds similar to the ego conversation, where there are many in the spiritual community saying to kill the ego rather than to become one with all parts of self and integrate them fully. So it seems like it's sounding like it's the opposite. Instead of separating and thinking you are leaving others, it is a recognizing the reflection in others and becoming more coherent and connected.
Yes, that is correct.
And why is this important for people to see?
Because we are so focused on where we are going. How are we going to get there? And how you are separate from one another. And many live in this fear of being separate and this difficulty of feeling alone, on your own. while a rise in consciousness is definitely happening, there needs to be more conversation about how you can come together rather than ascend by yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. And I am seeing a lot of fear around the aloneness aspect.
Yes, there are many at this time where you are so connected, given your access to social media and many different avenues of communication, and yet a lot of you are more alone than you ever have been. There has been a disconnect from community and from caring and learning and compassion for another. There has been an individualistic focus, which is what this Ascension conversation essentially is an individualistic focus. We would like to stress the fact of bringing it back together. How can you focus on connecting with another? Can you put your phone down long enough to connect and have a conversation? You might learn a lot about another and yourself by doing so. We do not want you to stress so much about where you are going and if you are ascending and what you can do to prepare for this, as you are already doing it.
And so connecting in, I've heard that it also accelerates your personal growth by being more around others. I think you've spoken on this as well.
Yes. Others are a mirror for you and what you are learning, and you will find that a lot that are in your sphere or come into your awareness and energetic field have similar experiences as you. It is a learning, symbiotic process of give and take, while also showing you different aspects of self that need some extra love and care. While also there are many that come in and trigger you quite a lot. And what a gift these triggers are, to show you exactly what you need to work on.
People don't usually see it that way.
Yes. But triggers are quite a blessing, and this is another way in which you can change your mind. Next time you are feeling triggered, say thank you, and what can I learn from this?
And as we move into this conversation, is there anything else about this you want to speak on?
We are complete on this topic for now, as it is a lot to digest, and there will be many feelings for those who watch it. A trigger. You are welcome.
Much appreciated.